where they gave her a drink that caused her to briefly lose consciousness. When she woke up, Graves says she was bound and restrained and was violently raped by Combs.
You can't say that you don't know anything. You have to have heard a few things, you must have witnessed a few things, and you saw some stuff.
But she told just a wild story about what was going on.
5 new lawsuits have been filed against Sean Diddy Combs, just ahead of his 4th scheduled bail hearing. The allegations are both shocking and deeply troubling, including claims from minors who have presented videotapes accusing Diddy of sexual abuse at his properties in Miami and New York. Additional accusations suggest he allegedly hired male individuals to assault victims. These revelations are harrowing. Stay with us as we uncover the details behind 10 alarming accusations outlined in the latest legal filings against him.
Plaintiff came to in a twilight state, still dizzy and nauseous, but semi-conscious and disoriented. As plaintiff tried to get his bearings, he realized he was laying face down across a large ottoman, with his head and arms hanging off of one side and the lower half of his body hanging off the other. His pants were pulled down to his ankles and his shirt was pulled over his head. He felt a great deal of pain and realized as he looked back that he was being anally sodomized by Combs. His vision was blurry, but he recognized Combs' chest tattoo and the large gold chain with a jeweled cross on it that Combs wore during the interview. Plaintiff tried to fight him off, but felt dizzy and sick whenever he tried to move. Additionally, Combs' bodyguard was holding plaintiff down by the arm.
Since November 2023, Sean Diddy Combs has been embroiled in an intense legal battle, facing a federal case brought by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York alongside over 3 dozen criminal lawsuits from individuals who claimed they were sexually and physically abused by him. These lawsuits allege that Diddy used his power and influence to conceal acts of sexual violence, even going so far as to pay his bodyguards to assault victims. To date, over 100 individuals have come forward with accusations, painting a grim picture of the situation.
When plaintiff regained consciousness, he was in a dark bedroom with black walls on a bed with black sheets. Everything around him was dark. Plaintiff was horrified to find Combs on top of him, sodomizing him. Plaintiff, in a state of shock and confusion, forcefully fought Combs off and fled the room, making his way to a nearby. Despite still being in a dazed, disoriented state, plaintiff fled the house in an effort to escape the situation as quickly as possible. He didn't return to the party after the assault, but plaintiff was traumatized by the assault and continues to experience severe emotional distress as a result of what he endured.
A British model, who was a regular attendee at Sean Diddy Combs' parties, claims she felt compelled to go out of fear that refusing would jeopardize her career. According to her, Diddy wielded immense power and influence, with connections to nearly every top Hollywood executive. She alleges that anyone who dared to expose him faced collective retaliation from his network. It was reportedly an open secret, with attendees often required to sign NDAs to protect what went on behind closed doors. She further described shocking scenes at these gatherings, where drug use was rampant, and explicit activities were happening openly, sometimes even in the pool or the living room.
I could see the progression of the party and where it was going. I was fully aware of where it was going. All day everyone's drinking, all day everyone's taking drugs, you know, whoever participates in drugs. Everyone's all over each other by then, kissing, touching, groping. Girls are half naked, fully naked in the pool, jumping and you know, God knows, there's loads of things that I saw. And kissing and groping and touching and fondling, and I heard sex in the bathrooms. You know, walking past bedrooms, I heard sex going on as well. They do drugs in the bathrooms, come out. I've seen residue of whatever they've just left behind with the whatever thing that they was using to sniff the substance. Once you've been there all day, where do you think it's going to go? A young lady from London, England, comes over and goes to her first party in the Hamptons in 2007, and she figures it out within the few hours that she's there what it's about. So you tell me if they know about it.
You were there, a newbie, and you immediately knew, oh, not only know this, but I know where this is going to head.
I mean, after I'd been drugged at the vodka party, I started to think, there's not some, you know, it's not quite what it seems.
Right,
so
but you would know, then you're really looking at it closely.
It out and was like, you know, I mean, you can't say that you don't know anything. You have to have heard a few things, you must have witnessed a few things, and you saw some stuff. This is why it also prompted me to speak up, because at the end of the day, some people, not hardly anyone was speaking up, but the handful that did, were coming out and saying, it was fine, it was a normal setting, it was just a party, oh, sex is sex, and that's just how Hollywood is. I'm just like, what kind of party, what are you talking about? Like, this is not normal.
There are verified reports of minors being present at Sean Diddy Combs' so-called freak-off parties, with allegations suggesting he maintained contact with some of them. One particularly disturbing case involves a minor who has photos reportedly showing Diddy hugging him at a party when the child was only 6 years old. These revelations have raised serious concerns and intensified scrutiny of the allegations against him.
No way that you are in the phases further down the line after the main event and you're not participating in any way. And that is when the NDAs come out. So if you are now further down the line, phase 2, 3, 4 parts of the party, you have definitely signed an NDA. Your phone is no longer with you. And I'm certain that you somehow participating in some way. There is no way, it's not a viewing party. You can't be in a room when everyone else is doing their thing and you're just observing on the sideline. There is no way. So anyone that says to me that they were part of the freak-off section of the party and not just at the main Hamptons house or main, vodka house party, there is no way that you would be part of that. And not.
Sean Diddy Combs is said to have cultivated powerful connections with U.S. presidents, music industry executives, and even the mayor of New York, allegedly using these relationships to suppress victims and block legal actions against him. One striking example occurred in 1999 when Diddy was caught with a stolen gun while fleeing a shooting. Despite multiple witnesses testifying to his involvement, he managed to avoid arrest. Instead, another individual ended up taking the blame and serving time, further fueling accusations of his ability to manipulate the justice system through his influence.
You believe this 6-year-old boy was once a guest at Diddy's infamous white party? The disgraced mogul has his arm draped around a young Justin Latowski back in 1999 and is now 31 and tells Inside Edition about taking that photo.
He put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way, close to areas that he shouldn't as a grown man.
He recalls what he saw at the party.
So I remember marijuana and topless women. That's the two main things that I remember.
So, how'd he end up there? Well, his father, David Allen, was Diddy's photographer, snapping pictures of partygoers in the Hamptons. Justin's mom, Maya, was also there. She says the party was family-friendly at first, but then turned raunchy.
People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, young-looking girls that were, not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
In later years, Diddy implemented a curfew for children.
Kids had like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, but this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all.
The federal case against Sean Diddy Combs is set to go to trial soon, but it's only part of the mounting legal troubles he faces. In addition to the federal charges, over 36 civil lawsuits have been filed, and allegations suggest that tapes documenting Diddy engaging in abusive acts exist. At least 8 of these tapes have reportedly been handed over to the FBI, while 2 others are said to be in TMZ's possession. Disturbingly, there are claims that videos from Diddy's so-called freak-off parties were being sold on the dark web for as much as $500,000 or more, with prices allegedly influenced by the identity of the victim being abused. These developments have only intensified public and legal scrutiny surrounding the case.
I do fear him because you don't know what his next move is going to be. You don't know what he's going to respond or what he's going to say. And he is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, you know, it is scary because you think, you know, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career. You know, if you say the wrong thing or you complain or you know, I don't know, there's an element where you're just, I guess manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing. Or, you know, when they're constantly asking, would you like to do drugs? And you're like, well, I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, why don't you do drugs? And so, like, it's a form of manipulation, and you are afraid of the new talent because you don't want to piss them off. There's so many elements to it. So you are scared. There is an element of fear, you know, and I never spoke up, you know, during that period of time because I feared for my life. Like, I was alone in New York. I had no family there. If I said the wrong thing, what could happen to me? I'm in a foreign country. It does take a group of people to come together and use their voice, but then others to feel comfortable to say the right thing as well.